Donald Trump is now so delusional and so far gone that he's attacking Fox News and calling them fake news. Now, Fox News is practically an arm of the Trump campaign. They do his bidding. They run negative stories about Kamala Harris, positive stories about Donald Trump in an attempt to help his campaign. I mean, they have folks like Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Jesse Waters. All of these hosts love Donald Trump and they talk so highly of him on their shows. But apparently, that's not enough for Donald Trump. Apparently, it's not, because now he's attacking the network because of a new poll that came out from Fox News. He's saying, oh, it's a fake poll, and saying that Fox is not to be trusted. So I'm going to show you this report from Fox on this poll, and then we'll look at Donald Trump's response. But man, he's not happy. So take a look.
Heading now out east to North Carolina. Former President Trump is also ahead there by 1 point. We'll say that he wins the state of North Carolina. We are going to give the state of Arizona to the vice president. And then the recent polling showed President Biden 5 points behind in North Carolina, and it's very, very tight right now. So go back to the map. It brings us to 264 to 258. Again, 270 is what you need to win. And guess what remains? Georgia. Georgia remains. It was the closest contest in 2020, decided by less than a quarter of a percentage point in favor of President Biden. Our recent polling showed the widest gap, 6 points, for former President Trump over President Biden. But now that has closed. Harris has a 2-point lead in our latest poll. It's expected to be a close race. That's obviously within the margin of error, but both candidates are spending a lot of time in Georgia, and if that lead holds, she wins Georgia, she wins the presidency of the United States.
Yeah, according to Fox News polling, Kamala Harris is going to win the presidency if the election were held today, for example. She's leading in Arizona, she's leading in Nevada, she's leading in Georgia, and in Michigan. And this is assuming that she doesn't win Pennsylvania, she doesn't win Wisconsin, and she doesn't flip North Carolina. That's a lot of assumptions to be made in favor of Donald Trump, right? If she does any of those things, then the game is over. She wins the presidency. Right now, she's on track to win the presidency. And might I remind you, again, that is Fox News polling. This is a network that, as we talked about, is practically an arm of the Trump campaign. They do his bidding. So, as you can probably imagine, Donald Trump wasn't quite happy when he saw this Fox News report, when he saw this new poll, because, you know, he just sits in front of the TV all day. That's all he does. So, instead of taking action, instead of seeing these bad poll results and saying, you know what, maybe it's time we pump up the campaign. Let's get out there and talk to voters. Let's have a rally. Let's have an event or something like that. Donald Trump doesn't do that. Instead, he says, well, you know what? Let's put out a statement attacking Fox News and attacking this poll. So it's remarkable, isn't it? You can see the statement on your screen right now. Of course, it has the letterhead, Trump Vans 2024, and it's released on August 28th, 2024. And the headline is, "We report, you decide. Fox's polling has an awful track record." It's that time of year again. Fox is releasing atrocious polling. Yeah, they're using the word atrocious to describe Fox News because they're not pro-Trump enough. They're not rigging their polls in favor of Trump, so now they're atrocious. I mean, it's remarkable. They continue. A look at polling from the same time period in 2020 shows that Fox News was off in North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada from either 5.3 to 9.7%. Donald Trump continues to outperform polling from past cycles. Donald Trump is 10 points ahead of where he was in Arizona at this point in 2020, according to Fox. Likewise, he's running 8 points ahead of his 2020 polling in Nevada and 5 points ahead of his polling in North Carolina. We see the same trend nationwide. A look at the Real Clear Politics average in Pennsylvania, for example, shows Donald Trump 6 points ahead of where he was in this point in 2020 and 9.4 points ahead of where he was in 2016. So this is all a bunch of garbage. I mean, I say this all the time. I feel like I don't have to say it, but of course there are MAGA Republicans out there who believe that Donald Trump is right, that this is totally factual and all that nonsense. But of course it's nonsense. Of course it's nonsense. They're saying, well, you know, Donald Trump is running ahead of where he was in 2020. It must mean he's winning. No, first of all, Donald Trump lost in 2020, so I'm not sure if that's a great argument. But let's just say that in Pennsylvania in 2020, Donald Trump was at 43%. right? And Joe Biden was like at 48%. If Donald Trump is now at 45% and Kamala Harris is at 50%, then he's not doing much better. He's not doing much better. And to say that Fox News' polling is off is maybe the case in some states, but Fox News' polling also actually predicted Biden winning in 2020. Fox News, again, Fox News polling, it's kind of weird to say, it feels a little uncomfortable. Fox News' polling actually correctly predicted Biden winning in 2020, and now they are once again predicting that Kamala Harris is going to win in 2024. So we can get into the nitty gritty of numbers and say, well, this poll was off by this much, or this poll was off by this much. But when we have Fox News as a polling firm, their polling side of their network, saying that, hey, we believe based on national polling and individual state polling that that Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States in 2020, and now they're making that same prediction in 2024, that's pretty telling. So this whole like statement of nonsense is just ridiculous, and it's a last ditch attempt at trying to revive the Trump campaign, trying to get them back on their feet. He's doing anything he can to say, well, don't believe your eyes, donors, because the donor money is going to start drying up if the polls continue in the way they are. Don't believe your eyes, donors. Don't believe your eyes, because Fox News was off by this much or that much. It's so typical Trump. And what's also typical Trump about this is that if there's a poll result that he doesn't like, it's fake, right? Even if it's coming from Fox News, if it's against him and it shows that Kamala Harris is leading, that she's going to win the presidency as it stands today, right now, then it's fake. That he says, I don't like it. But if it's showing that Donald Trump is winning, if Donald Trump were winning in all of these states, if the inverse were true, then he'd say, oh, it's a great poll. No, it's right. No, it's right. It's absolutely right. Trump is a child. If he doesn't get his way, it's fake. If he gets his way, he's great. He loves it. That's who Donald Trump is. I really just don't think we should have a child in the White House, you know what I mean, who throws temper tantrums all of the time. Quite literally a child stuck in a man's body. I don't think that's a recipe for success for the country. This entire story is so typical Trump. Bad polling, he attacks it. Good polling, he loves it. You don't see Kamala Harris out there getting a bad poll, saying, oh, it must be fake. Putting out an entire campaign statement claiming that said poll is wrong or rigged or whatever. You don't see that. Because why? Well, the campaign is run by adults. Kamala Harris herself is an adult and she acts like it. Whereas the Trump campaign is run by a bunch of right-wing lunatics, and Donald Trump, the guy at the top of the ticket, is certainly not an adult, at least in his maturity. So I just think this is remarkable. It kind of really shows you the spiral that the Trump campaign is in. They're unfolding, and they're making these last-ditch attempts to try to revive the campaign, keep the donors happy, keep the voters happy, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work, is it? So anyway, I just wanted to bring this story to your attention. I think it's really funny, but I'll wrap up the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Also, drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.